Oh, look who it is. Bro, they're lucky they drove off, man. I'm literally setting the camera up right here to go do a roller past them. What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, man. So I've been waiting on a couple of parts to come in for the Blazer. When we went testing last, I figured out a few things that I would really like to improve. One of the really important ones was some sort of line lock or staging brake. We've already finished that. The Blazer now has a line lock on it, so we'll be capable of doing a much better burnout, and we'll be able to actually preload all the drivetrain whenever we're about ready to launch. So hopefully we'll be able to improve on our 60 foot and our overall time, you know what I mean? So another thing that I've been waiting to show up is a BumpSteer kit. So this is gonna be really important as well. I don't know if you guys can notice, but my Blazer is most certainly lowered from stock height. And this thing definitely has a lot of BumpSteer, bro. Just driving down the freeway, like the day we went out testing, I had to actually stop at a gas station. I jacked up the front and I wanted to inspect everything just because of how much it was dancing all over the road. It felt unsafe. BumpSteer is a son of a bitch. It's not very confidence inspiring in your vehicle, you know, because it dances and it'll throw you left and right and everything. It's hard to keep it straight. It also affects the way the vehicle performs whenever you're drag racing. So it's a very important thing. But I definitely got to give a huge shout out to TRZ. I ordered this on Friday and it showed up Monday morning. The reason why I bring that up is because I wanted to install this with some other parts, but the other parts that I actually paid the extra $35 for overnight shipping still isn't here, man. All right, coming up underneath here, looking at the suspension on the Blazer. Everything on this I've already replaced. The drag link is new, idler arm, pitman arm, the upper ball joints, lower ball joints. We just recently did the sway bar bushings. So for the most part, everything down here is brand new. I'm trying to get rid of the play in the suspension for one, and I'm trying to get rid of the damn BumpSteer. So the BumpSteer on the Blazer is coming from the fact that it has been lowered. So whenever you lower the vehicle, this lower control arm is not sitting parallel with the tie rod ends. So this is the portion that actually spans over, hooks to the steering knuckle, and controls my steering. Well, this whole entire contraption underneath here controls the steering, but you know what I mean. You want your tie rod ends to be in line with your lower control arm. So right now, as you can see, so it is really difficult to tell by looking at it, but you have to imagine a line from the pivot point of the lower control arm where it bolts up right here up to the ball portion of the ball joint, not the shaft that sticks up that goes into the steering knuckle, but the actual ball portion where it pivots. You have to imagine a straight line right there. So looking at it myself, from this bolting point right here, it looks like the straight line would be slightly upwards, where my tie rod ends look like they are just about straight, if not slightly down. But you want them to be parallel with one another, so whenever the suspension travels up and down as you go over bumps, or whenever, as you guys know, whenever you stage and you launch the vehicle, the front end raises quite a bit. When it raises, those 2 points right there are gonna move at 2 different radiuses, I guess you would say. So as the suspension travels, they are not moving parallel with one another, because at static ride height, they're not sitting parallel with one another. You know what I'm saying? So we need to correct that, and that's where the BumpSteer kit comes in. So it is going to be replacing the inner and outer tie rods on both sides, in which those are the only steering components down here that I have not already replaced. And that is for this reason right here exactly, because I planned on ordering a BumpSteer kit. So yeah, finally, everything down here will be brand new. In which at that point, if they're still slopping my steering, I don't know, man. I guess just chalk it up to the fact that this is 1987 technology down here, you know what I mean? really don't know how it is TRZ did it with their BumpSteer kit, man. Now, just to be straight up with you, obviously I am not sponsored by them whatsoever, and I hate saying that. Such like a basic YouTuber thing to say. Red Bull. Not sponsored, by the way. No freaking kidding, dumbass. I just want you guys to have an understanding that they're not like paying me to use these parts or anything along those lines. So this is a genuine opinion. Now, I haven't used the product yet, but obviously it's a very high quality product. You know, it is really beefy, dude. Like, it's a good looking set. So where I say I don't know how it is that they did it, this kit costs $180, and it comes with everything that you see right here. All the other kits that I found through my research of wanting to buy some, I had a few in my cart on Jegs. I had one on Summit that was in my cart, that, because you know, I've been shopping around for a little bit. I've been wanting to do this to the Blazer for some time now. Every single one of those kits were over $200. Some were like $210, $280, and every single one of those kits did not include the inner tie rods. It was literally just this. All those other kits were $200+ for just this. For TRZ's BumpSteer kit, you get all of that, and you get the inner tie rods, which are a lot bigger and beefier than the factory ones, for $180, for cheaper. So most certainly, if you have a G-body or a Blazer S10, I'm pretty sure they make them for a lot of other vehicles other than just the Blazer. Most certainly check out TRZ's BumpSteer kit. It's a little bit cheaper and you get more. You know what I'm saying? It just makes sense. So I was under the impression ordering a BumpSteer kit, I was gonna have to run to O'Reilly's or something and go and get myself some new inner tie rods. So these most certainly need to be replaced. I don't know if you guys can tell. Hell, I wouldn't doubt that these are the originals from 1987. They sure as hell look like it, but this is what it replaces. Some assembly required. Hey, damn reverse thread. God dang, boy, talk about out with the old and in with the new. That's a good looking piece, dude. So not only are we gonna get the adjustability that we need to get rid of the BumpSteer, but these are also gonna be a lot stronger. So I don't know if you guys see the girthiness of that freaking tie rod end right there, buddy, versus these guys right here. So the factory inner and outer tie rod ends have this ball joint style end. And oh my god, our BumpSteer kit has the same style on the inner tie rod, but the outer has this adjustable bolt with these spacers. So now we're going to be able to adjust the angle of our arm by just simply deciding how many spacers we want on top and how many spacers we want on bottom of our bolting point. But for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and set this section aside until we are ready for it. I need to set the length of these, so that is going to be basically the exact same as the factory stuff. You spin in one direction and these get longer, you spin the other direction and it gets shorter. And what I'm going to do for the time being to start off is I'm going to go ahead and match the lengths to the ones that we just took off. If it looks too terribly off, like if it's too terribly towed out or towed in, I'll try to eyeball it, but for the most part I need to take this thing down to have an alignment done either way. But we got to start somewhere, man. If I had to give you a gripe, a complaint, my little fitting, I only got one. My little greaser fitting with the cutter pin, I only got one. Supposed to be two. But to be fair, I did order this shit on a Friday, you know what I'm saying? No worries, I've got extra. Yeah, let's get this shit installed, bro. Alright, one more thing we gotta do. Pump those new inner tie rods full of grease. Alright, well, never mind. I guess my grease gun has decided to stop working. Again. if it's because of how low my blazer is. I don't think that my blazer is too terribly low, but I mean, it is what it is. It's definitely lower than stock. I ended up needing to go with 0 spacers between the actual steering knuckle itself. Basically, I needed the arm to be as high as possible, as close to the steering knuckle, and that is what has it parallel with my lower control arm. So that should definitely show some improvement. Now, Braven's home from work. Get a good view of my water pump freaking leaking up there. That thing just showered down on me when I was shaking this thing. So like I mentioned before, everything down here was new except for my tie rod end. So whenever I got down here and grabbed the tie rod end, I was able to get movement out of it by shaking it. And dude, this won't freaking budge. I know I have the camera in my hand and the camera is just shaking with me, but trust me, it's not moving. Anyhow, bro, that should be one hell of an improvement. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing off of the wheel boxes now and take it for a drive. Bro, I can't make this shit up. This thing is working now. I threw it across the room. Now it's working. Much it. I was gonna take it for a test drive, but it's currently raining out there and I don't have working windshield wipers on this thing. Well, I guess that's a lie. They do work, but whenever I had them hooked up, they just wouldn't turn off, so I unhooked them. Anyhow, guys, it came out really nice. I wanted to just go back and forth and make sure my steering wheel is still straight, and it is. And pulling straight in, it looks like my alignment's pretty straight. I mean, this wheel is pointing straight, and this wheel is, yeah, it's pointing straight. I most certainly do need to go and get a professional alignment done on this thing someday. So, like I said, I am waiting for one more part, and whenever that comes in, I will give you a hint. It's for the rear. Whenever that comes in, I definitely want to go out and test this thing again, and I do have a couple of changes that I want to make to the bars on the back and a couple of other things too. So yeah, dude, I'm just excited to try to improve on what we previously ran. So far, this thing has been a best of 13.7 in a quarter mile. I need to go through all my draggy slips and see what the best time for the 1/8 mile was, and like my best 60 foot and all that stuff, and I just need to start chipping away at it, you know what I'm saying? Definitely excited to make some improvements, but by all means, man, I'm gonna have TRZ's website in the description down below. Like I said, this is a really nice bump steer kit, and for what you get and the quality and the price of it versus all the other stuff that I found while I was doing research on what kit to get, this is the best one that I found by far. And TRZ also has a bunch of other like S10 specific things on their website if you want to check it out, as well as other chassis. So I will say I most certainly want to get their upper and lower control arms, bro. They have a long travel upper and lower control arm kit. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please do smash the like button. Peace, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.